Hello and welcome to hobby vlog number 96. Only 4 away now from the big 100, which is quite exciting. This week has been, as I always say, very busy. Andrew and Rosie have managed to head away on holiday, which is fantastic, and they're having a great time, which I'm really pleased about. And I've been really focusing this week on progressing the model railways. Yes, I've gone back to the winter one, the Christmas tree one, and I'm winterising it, so that started this week. But also I'm really pushing to get the main model railway for Rosie finished so that when she comes back there's actually trains running on it. Now, whether I achieve that or not, we shall see, because this week has been crazy with working on Tourney. I've probably put 20 hours into it this week on top of working my jobs, and yeah, that's quite amazing that I've actually managed to get as much hobbying done as I have. I didn't actually stand up from the computer at all day yesterday, which was Saturday, and I've already put 3 hours in this morning before I start recording this, so yes, very busy. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think. If you've learned anything or whatever, I always read them all, I reply to them all, and they really do inspire and encourage me, so thank you ever so much if you do comment. I'll stop rambling now. Please do enjoy the video, and I'll see you again at the end. Right, let's get painting. So, thoughts, and I've made my decision. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using the plum for the rocks, and I'm actually going to be using a different colour. I'm going to be starting slightly darker and working my way up. So I'm going to be using, it's very similar but it's not quite, it's just a little bit darker as you can see, and I may even add a little bit more brown into that when I'm painting it, but I'm going to do that for the base and for the kind of like prepared area. So I'll pop some music on and I'll get that painting. I might not film it all, but I'll do a little bit of each just so you can see how it looks, and I'll bring you back when it's done and we're going to start to do the dry brushing. There, the thrust puck motors, the engines, whatever I want to call it, has been attached. It's not massively secure, but it's fine. Should be enough what I want to do. So what I'm now going to work on is the feet, and I have had some ideas about this, which I'm going to show you. So here we have some blue foam, and I've cut this to about a 15-degree angle or something like that, just here. And I've also, just as an experiment to work out, make sure I don't do stupid, I've done the other end as well. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tripod style idea. So I will be able to glue, stick some of this foam on here and have it going out at about 10 to 15 degrees and do one on each of the 3 round bottom bits here, and then where then I'll maybe be able to put a plate or something on the bottom of that, so something circular for it to sit on. I think that won't project too far, so I have a trouble in terms of fitting it on the piece, but also it'll look quite nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and I'm going to trim this down to about 2 centimeters wide, because that's going to be wide enough, and then I'm going to need to actually paint it and make it not look blue, so I don't think the blue looks very good. I'm not very happy with that as a colour, so I'm going to need to work out how to colour it. But that's basically, then when that's done, this rocket is completed. What I'll do now is I'll shift the camera very slightly and show you what the base looks like, and hold the rocket in place so you can see where it's going to fit. Alright, there we are. So you can see I've also put some colour on, which is pretty cool, and here is where the rocket's going to fit. So there's plenty of space for it, with the legs, as long as they don't go out too far outside the circumference of these base bits, they're going to fit in perfectly fine. So yeah, so that's now, the next thing to do is to work out the feet for this rocket. I'm just going to put it down very carefully again, and get that positioned and in place. So yeah, I'll do that and I'll bring you along when I've done that. I'll show you what I've done and show you how I've achieved my results. Well, that went a little bit faster than I expected. So what I did is I took the cut that I showed you and cut it down to a slim sever. Here's my test piece. Then I took some of the tin foil and just wrapped it around it. Literally just wrapped it tightly around it like that. And then I've used the white glue, the super strong stuff from Moment that I've been using a lot, and stuck it in. And it will support it, I think. So I'm going to let it to dry now to go off before I fiddle with it too much more. But yeah, I think that's going to be okay. Once that glue's gone off, I think we should see that will support it. Hopefully. If not, then it will be a disaster and a tragedy. So I'll leave that now, and I'll come back to that a bit later on today or maybe tomorrow. And now comes the fun part. So you can see here that the rocket is in place and it fits and it sits. It's not glued in yet because a couple of more final steps to do. So I've started to arrange a few of the bits and pieces around the edge. So you can see these are white stones I picked up on Thassos at various locations because I wanted to have some real contrast. And I've also started to mock out some of the positioning. So I think that the robot is going to go there. You can see tucked in just next to the rocket. What I also do want to do, I think, is paint some more colours, just put an orange stripe down the centre of that, or maybe even just an orange stripe down the sides of the cardboard box, just to add a little bit of a highlight. So I'm going to do that as well. But the first thing I'm going to do, what I'm going to do right now, is move the rocket out of the way because I know that's where it's going to sit, and then start to glue in place all of the elements. So you can see here's the robot, and I'm going to put the stones in, and I've started to place these little idle type things. Now I've decided to remove them off of their bases. I'll use those bases for something else. I won't throw them away. That is how that works. That kind of like slots on there, but it doesn't look right, I don't think. So I'm just going to take that off and glue them in place without the bases. So I've got 4 of them, and I've got a bunch of the smaller ones, and then I've got the actual the figures, the characters. And I think I'm going to have one character stood up here, so she's going to be up there, and I'm going to have the other stood in here, so in the cave, and then the actual crew are going to be walking along here. So it's a little bit of a different layout than I had in mind initially, but the idea being I might put a little ladder here or something, but that's how you get up to her, and the other lady is in here, and these guys are just kind of walking along like that. So that's my plan. I'll get that all arranged, I'll get them stuck down into place, and then bring you back and show what it looks like. I'm not going to run the camera for that because there's going to be lots of umming and ahhing and changing of minds, I'm sure. So as I've said, what I want to do is put a couple of bits of detail on this, and I'm going to tie it in with the robot. So I've got purple and I've got green. And what I think I'm going to do actually is, against what I said orange, that was just me being silly. I'm going to paint this up right here purple, and it's probably going to take a couple of coats. I'm just going to do it very carefully, and I can do another coat later. So when that's dried, it'll probably take at least 2 coats. So I'll do that, and then I'm probably going to do this here in the green. So I'm not going to do very much, and I might also, you can see that the top of this has come off, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I might also actually do that as well in green. So I'll get that done, get that painted now. It's a bit difficult to do while the camera's on, so I can't really get into the right angle. So I'll do that off camera, but that's basically all I'm going to be doing, is just very, very carefully painting down these lines. I'll let them dry, and then in an hour or so come back and do another set, do some more painting, and then that will be, I think, this rocket ship done. Personally, I think I'm happy with it. It just needs those little bits of detail just to kind of make it not a black blob. So yeah, pretty happy with that. This really is out of my comfort zone, but I think I'm managing to do it okay. Right, today Rosie and Angela headed off for their break, and so I am going to focus really hard on getting this as close to completed as I possibly can. Now I'm waiting for a few bits. Over at the back there's a new idea which I'm waiting for. I've ordered, it should be here in the next week, which is a fire station, which is going to go where I thought I'd have a shop. It's going to go next to the school. The school might move a little bit over, and the fire station is going to go just out a shot there. But that means that pretty much everything else is done, apart from I need to make the custom make the station, which is going to go at the front there near the camera. So what I'm going to start to do is the terrain and the scenicking in this area. So what I think I'm going to do this evening is build up maybe with a little bit of foam where I want to, but most of it's going to be quite flat. So use modelling compound over most of this, including where the road's going to go. And I'm probably going to stop just short of this little crossroads, little Y junction here, because I want that's where I'm going to need to start planning a few other bits and pieces. So I'm probably going to go right along the edge of the railway here, and kind of come round here and attempt to cut across the road there and go to the edge of where the school's going to be, and maybe even do all of this as well. So I'm going to go and mix up some modelling compound and start to play around with it. Probably won't run the camera because you've seen me do modelling compound loads of times, but I'll be back at the end of the evening to show you what I've done. So long-term viewers will recognise this. This is the model railway that goes around the Christmas tree. And I've thought for quite a long time that I want to put, well, when I first designed it, I wanted to put trees on this back bit going up there, and I also wanted to winterify it. But I didn't have time when I did it initially, but now I do have time, so I'm going to. So what I'm going to use is I have these trees here. So there's a bunch of kind of Christmassy tree type things which I can put around here. And I've also recently finished a diorama of the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, and that required quite a lot of snow. This is going to be far more sparse, but I have a load of snow materials so I can actually get this done. Now right now Angela and Rosie are away for a little bit, so I've got a fantastic opportunity to get this done while Rosie is not here, and then hide it so it's a complete surprise on Christmas Day. So that's or Christmas when the tree goes up. So that's the plan. So I've put it, this is big. I've had to put it onto a table outside room 13. As you can see, it's a big old thing. So yeah, so this is where I'm going to work on it. So the first step is to plant all the trees. So I will get everything ready, point the camera and show you how I'm going to do it, and then probably finish most of it off camera, to be honest. But yeah, very, very happy to be able to get a crack onto this and start to actually finish this project off. Okay, so I've got 3 different types of tree. There's the style 1, and there's style 2. I've got most of those, and then I have these kind of poplar type ones as well. So I'm going to make use of all of them. I think I do have other trees as well scattered around. I'm probably going to be mix and matching, but I'm going to make use of every tree I've got in this pack right now, and I'm going to start at the back and move forwards. So the way that I'm going to do this is down here I have a plate which has some PVA on it. It's just a dinner plate that I bought for the purpose, and I have my bradawl. Now this is a really useful tool. So what you do is you dip your tree in the PVA, so you have PVA on the base, and then you work out where you're going to put it. Use the bradawl to pierce a hole in the material. Now this is covered in modelling compound, so it's not just pushing into white foam. And when you've got a hole, make sure you've got a good amount of PVA on there, you drop your tree in. And there we are, 1 tree. So I'm going to get this done and put the rest of the trees in. That wasn't very well focused on the tree I put in. Yeah, I'm going to put the rest of the trees in, and I will bring you back when it's done and show you what it looks like. And yeah, I've got quite a few to do, so it should really transform this area. So I've glued in a bunch of the fir trees, and then the poplar type ones I've attempted to glue in using copy decks. I'll leave that overnight now, just see how well that sits. These ones at the front, I'm not so sure they're going to be quite so secure. I found quite a nice, cool, prominent looking tree, which I might actually decorate. Put a few bits and pieces on it to make it look like a Christmas tree. But yeah, pretty pleased with how that looks. I haven't got enough of the fir trees, as you can see. The left-hand side is a bit bare, but I'm not too worried about that, because as I remember, the Christmas tree might actually encroach on there quite a lot with its own branches, so it might not be a bad idea to leave that a bit clearer over that end. So yeah, I'm going to leave that to dry overnight, and then next thing to do will be to apply the winterization, which I'm actually quite looking forward to, because I had a lot of fun doing that on the other scenery that I did for Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So yeah, hopefully it'll look really good. So 2 things happened here. One, I actually ran out of the modelling compound that I have. It had not out of its packet, so I managed to get quite a lot of it done, including some of the road. This kind of rough area here coming down off of the rise going towards the railway station, and then the showground, which is going to be over there. And then I decided, and I actually pulled some up and moved it and used it elsewhere, that I really wanted to have a bank there. I wanted to have the model railway or the line kind of disappear. Oops, my finger is huge. Disappear behind some rise there. So I'm just starting to put some of the white foam down, white expanded polystyrene down, and I'm going to glue that in place, weight it down, and then I'll come and actually mould it, and I'll sculpt it again with a hot wire tool to make it into a little bit more of a kind of like smooth bank, maybe use some scrunched up paper and what have you, but I'll do that tomorrow. So I'm going to glue what I've got here down. I might put a little bit more as I go around the corner, but I'm just going to stop where it is now. So I'm going to glue those 3 sections down and then look at it tomorrow and do a little bit of kind of contouring and work out what I'm going to do further around the corner. So that's a good place to reach. I'm really pleased to be making some progress on this, and I'm very excited to see what it looks like at the end of the 2 weeks. So a really good start to this period. Okay, so I've glued those down just using that super strong glue that I have in the tube, and now I've just remembered the last thing I wanted to do was this little shed which I've had for quite a long time. I want to stick that down there, so I'm going to use some copy decks just to glue that in place, and then what I'll do is a little gravel track leading up to it, just a footpath. It's just going to be like a workman's shed or something. That's where I wanted to put it there. I've wanted it since I first saw that little corner. That's why I thought, you know what, I'm going to put a little shed there. So I'm going to glue that in place as well, and then I can finish off the scenicking around that as well. So really, really good progress, and yeah, leave everything to dry overnight and come back to it tomorrow. So what we're now going to do is we're going to mix up some of the snowflakes, the snow, and to paint that onto the trees, and it's just going to take quite a little bit of time because again I haven't got lots of time, as always. I'm doing this just while the kettle is just boiled. So I'm going to quickly mix up a small batch and then take it over and start to paint it on the railway, and I'll just keep doing this over the next couple of days, just when I've got a second, just do a little bit at a time because it works really well like that. But I thought I'd show you how I go about mixing it. So I have this shaker here, and I have another couple of these actually I've ordered because this has gone so well. I think I want to have this in stock so I don't have to run out. So we put a pile in there, and I believe you do it 4 parts of the snow to about 2 parts of PVA, like that, and I don't do this scientifically, as you can see, and then 1 part of water. And what you then do is mix it up, and you can always add more and whatever. Just remember, you can't take it out, so if you find that you've done it a little bit too loose, then you're going to need to put some more snow in, or maybe some more PVA. But you basically mix that up. There we are. So different consistencies will give different results when it's actually painted on. So what we'll do now is we'll move over. You can see what that consistency is. That is first time basically what I want. So we'll move over to the layout now, and we'll have a look and see what it looks like when it's going on. Alright, so what I've found to be best is a little brush a little bit like that. So that's the best thing I've found so far in my short experience of putting this on. And you literally can dab it on. Now I want this to be quite a thin coating. I don't want it to be a deep amount of snow, but I do want it on the trees. So this is going to be a little bit of an experiment for me for how much I put on, because I had a deep covering on the last time I did this. But the way to put it on the trees is to brush upwards from the bottom. You'll get a better result than trying to brush downwards, and that will just put that nice kind of slushy covering that you might see on a tree if there's been a bit of snow but not a huge amount, and I think it looks really nice. So I'm going to do this until I've run out of the mix and I have to go back to work, and then as I say, I'll keep doing this. I'll bring you along, show you the next steps if there's something new, but largely it's going to be me doing this for the next couple of days. So yeah, that's that. Maybe when I've worked out exactly how I'm going to do the floor, I might bring you along. I'm thinking I might just do patches as if it's kind of melting a bit, because I do want to show off the effort I put into on the base still. I don't want to lose all of that. So yeah, I'll get that done, and next time I've got something to show you, I will be sure to put the camera on. Alright, so these are stuck down nicely, but what I've realised is I actually have just pulled this a little bit too close to the edge of the track. So I'm going to use a very sharp Stanley knife to carve a curve in it, and then I'm going to go and get my hot wire cutter, and I'm going to cut and I'm going to sculpt the rest of it. But this needs to be done with a knife because I need to go right down to the base. Something like that. There we are. I just had made a little mistake and got it a little bit too close to the tracks there. So what I'll do now is I'll grab my hot wire cutter. I probably won't run the camera when I'm doing it, but I'm going to carve it so that it's a smooth curve up, and then so that we can take the edges off and make it rounded. I'm probably going to only carve up until the edge of this one here, because past this point I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet, so I'm going to let that develop and grow as I'm thinking. I am even thinking that I might, not that you can really see, but behind where the bucket is, back here I might put something going up quite high as well, so a little bit more elevation there. So yeah, so I'll get my hot wire cutter, get that done, and I'll bring it back and show you what it looks like when I have finished, which won't take me very long. So I've done that, pretty happy with how that looks, but what I do need to do is build up this side a little bit. As you can see, there's quite a cliff just to the left of the picture there, which isn't really what I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the offcuts and glue them in place, just hold them in place loosely with the super strong glue that I use, and then straight away come along with the modelling compound and put a rough skim over the top to hold it in place, and that probably will be enough for today. I might also work a little bit on the other side, just near where the hut is, because that hut has been glued in and is now nice and secure, as you can see over there. There it is. So I might also do a little bit of modelling compound just along that back, just to kind of finish that off. So yeah, so I will get these glued in place and I will show you what it looks like when it's done. I might leave the camera running just a little bit, put some music on, see how well that footage comes out. So yeah, but that's what I'm going to be doing. If it doesn't work and you don't see it, it's because it was rubbish. I'm just going to work over there and get the modelling compound in place. So here goes. Right, let's go to shaky cam and sum up what I've managed to do this evening. So I have put in around the little trackside hut and done a little path, as you can see here. And I've also finished off this beginning of a bank. Now, I don't know how much would have shown up, unfortunately, while I was filming just then, but I took some off here. And the reason for that is I think I'm going to go for a retaining wall along here with air-dried clay, just along that bit there, and so I'll come along once that's in place and dry, and then I will put the rest of the modelling compound in up to it. So that's that plan there. And I've also continued all the way along this side of the track up to here, and that's when I ran out of that last mix, and so I've decided to stop. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. I think that's going to be a really nice little visual kind of block. It will mean that when you're stood over there, the train will appear around here, it will be visible going past this little hut, and then it will go back behind the bank, and then onwards and then into town. So yeah, I think it's going to be a really nice little visual breaking things up into scenes. And if we step back, we can see that, yeah, I'm not doing too bad, making some progress. I really am going to have to start work on that on that station soon. But yeah, pretty pleased with that. I think next is going to have to be this retaining wall, which might be this evening, I'm not sure. I won't film it, I don't think. You've seen enough of that in these videos. Air dry clay, roll it out, glue it on with PVA and leave it, and then paint it with the red and then, or with the sand colour, and then dry brush the red over the top. Really simple technique, which you've seen a few times. But I think after that, the next thing I'm going to have to do is actually start to position these buildings. And that could become a block, because at the back here is where the fire station is going to be, and I don't have that yet. So I don't know how much space that's going to take up. But potentially what I can do is I can look at the path, the track even to the station, and looking at putting the church in. So that could be where I can work on. But we shall see. For now, pretty pleased. 2 days since they went away on holiday, and 2 days of good progress. So I've worked a little bit more on this, putting some more of the snow effects on, and I've found that I need to do a process first. So what I need to do is I need to come along and actually put another coat of my terrain glue over the top of the grass, because certainly around here it's very loose. As I'm applying the snow, it's lifting up. So what I'm going to do is everywhere where I've not applied snow yet, I'm going to put a thick coat of the terrain glue, and then I have to leave that to dry until I come and do the rest, because it's yeah, it's going to need to be completely dry before I carry on. So I'm going to get that done now, and then leave it probably for 24 hours at least, 36 hours maybe, and then come back to it. A bit frustrating, but yeah, I have made quite a nice little bit of progress over here. If you have a look, you can see that we do have some quite nice trees covered in quite nice snow, so pretty pleased with it. But yeah, I just need to seal the rest of the terrain piece. Very, very excitingly today, it arrived, the county fire station from Scaledale. So that's the final piece of the puzzle, apart from the station, which I'm going to scratch build at some point. I keep saying that, but I am going to scratch build here. So what that's going to mean I can do is pretty much the entirety of the town side now can be put in place and arranged. So for example, here's the school, and that's going to go roughly here, and then the fire station is going to go over here in this corner. And so what I'm going to be able to do, once they're all in place and positioned right, then I'm about to continue working on the rest of the scenicking, rest of the modelling compound, and get the whole of this done. So yeah, really cool. So let me get that out and show what it looks like, and then I will start to play around with exact positions, and I'll bring you along when I get to the next stage. Now that is very, very cool, and is going to fit in perfectly in the spot I've got, and Rosie will love it, which is obviously the most important thing. So I have a fire engine on its way, which is actually going to be wrapped up for Christmas for her, so she won't see that very soon. But I have ordered it just so that it's definitely here in time. Yeah, that's going to work perfectly in the space I've got, and it's going to really bring a nice little bit of interest to this little town. So yeah, I'm going to get that all set up like I've said, and I'll bring you along when I get to it, when I get it done, and you can see what the town end is going to look like when everything is in place. Time for a little bit of shaky cam. So this is going to be the layout. It hasn't changed very much. I've pushed the school a little bit, as you can see from the writing, a little bit to the right. The fire station is going to be right next to the pub. Over here, with that done, I've also started to think about how I'm going to finish off this little bit of an embankment. And as you can see, I've also done the brick retaining wall. I've drawn on that, so I'm going to go and cut that out with the hot wire cutter, and then I'll put a little bit more on top. So the idea will be that it'll be sloping up towards quite a high bank here. So it's not going to be very realistic in one sense. Why would they have such a high bank? Why would they knock it all down? But my thinking is that it's basically been left there so that it stops disturbing the kids in the school when the trains go past. So there we are, I can tell a story. So I'm going to cut that out, stick that down, fill this in, and then I'm going to put the retaining wall on the back. And then when that's done, I have to think about this back corner. Like I say, I'm thinking that I might want to build that up as well. So I'll do that first, and then when those bits of terrain and those elevation changes are done, then I will look at sticking all of this down, gluing it all down, fitting it all in place and putting the modelling compound over everything. So there's even a chance that I might achieve my target before Rosie and Angela get home, but we shall see. Pushing on hard, very, very busy with other things as well, so getting less time with this than I wanted. But yeah, I really like how that fire station works. I'm really glad that I had that idea. I think it really fits in nicely, and I'm pretty massively excited to see this finished. So let's push on. Next time I come back, probably all of these elevation things will be in and I'll show you what it looks like. Well, there you are. That was the week, and yeah, I've got another 10 or 11 days until they get back, so I better crack on. Really, really pleased with the progress though on the model railway, and also very happy to have finally managed to get the snow effects onto the Christmas railway. Of course, I finished the Sci Fi Diorama, though I haven't yet done a wrap up on that, so that'll probably land next week. Just been too busy. And yeah, 3 projects in a week, it's not bad, and pretty good progress, so pretty pleased with that. So thank you very much for watching. If you've managed to make it this far particularly, I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all your comments and all your support, so that really makes a difference to me. So I'll thank you there, and I'll wrap up by saying, as I always do, please stay healthy, stay safe and stay well.